Last time, I covered the Silk Road campaign, which was Overkill's big and bombastic return to the development of Payday 2. Overall, it was a great comeback and saved the company from bankruptcy. To follow up, Overkill continued to expand the story like before, but this time they focused on Dragon, Bonnie, and Rust, led by Joy in their travels to San Francisco. This is honestly an odd group, as these are some of the least played characters in the game, but what can you do? It's not like Overkill can make up more characters on the spot. What matters is the content of these DLC more than anything else, so let's get into it. Dragon Heist was the first map that Overkill released for this campaign, and let me say it right now, this map is a near masterpiece. It's got everything. Good pacing, unique map design, optimization, and most importantly to me, good objectives. That said, there are still some things about it that are, well, strange. Why exactly is the first objective a 20-second lockpick? No enemies have arrived yet, so there's no risk in opening this door. I'd much rather just increase the hack by 20 seconds and just have this first door be one you can shoot open. This wouldn't really be a problem if there weren't two more doors exactly like this. Technically, the back entrance isn't necessary, but it's really nice to pick open just to have that movement option if you need it. What isn't optional is opening the door to the back offices to grab a keycard. It's just kind of dumb that you have 40 seconds of lockpicking literally as you start the map, which is why I tend to bring C4, a saw, or a burglar to this map whenever I play it. Fixing the beginning of the map will move Dragon Heist from near masterpiece to masterpiece, because I literally don't have any other complaints. I adore how objectives can be done whenever you want. Start the auction hack box and then go get the drill, or do it the other way around if you want. While the drill is getting into the vault, you can go open the door to get the blowtorch and crowbar, which gives you something to do that isn't just waiting around. The way you can secure loot by C4 or by foot, or both if you want, feels great since you get to decide based on the situation. This is something that other maps will have you locked into one or another choice, usually because of pre-planning. Honestly, this map just flows really well and doesn't have much to criticize other than nitpicking, so I might as well move on to the next map. The Ukrainian prisoner map is a step down from Dragon Heist, but that's to be expected. I'm not going to say this map is amazing, because it's riddled with flaws. However, I can say that the map is unique, because I really like what Overkill tried with it. The ending sequence in which you need to choose a direction to guide Vlad is really cool, albeit incredibly unbalanced. Would you rather deal with turret suppression or not? Would you rather be shot from every angle imaginable or not? There's a path which players will choose over the other almost every time, but if these were balanced out, or maybe even expanded on, this map could be really cool. What if you have to deal with a turret if you go one way, but the objective past that is much easier than going the path that doesn't have the turret? Something along those lines will give more reason for players to explore different sides. Sure, the optimal path will still be found, but it won't be as easy and objective a decision. There's another turret that needs to be dealt with a bit earlier, determined by RNG. To get into the warehouse to save Vlad, you need to either hack a computer or drill into the back of a SWAT van. Why would someone even make an objective like this is beyond me. Frankly, it's awful design. Another bit of awful design is hacking into the PC to find the warehouse holding Vlad. There's no point in the door hack thing. It doesn't take long enough to validate leaving for cover, but it's also just long enough to where sitting in front of the door is dangerous. It's stupid. Just make this door a longer hack or a shorter hack. The current version is just about the only wrong answer. Speaking of holding Vlad, once you get to him, you need to revive him with a defibrillator. I guess it makes sense that it doesn't work on the first try, but why can't it just be like 2 or 3 times and that's it? I think I'm the only person who tried it 6 times for none to work and then the map to fail. Those are the points of bad design on the map, but this map also has bad design in the form of bugs. This map used to be even buggier, but some stuff has been improved. That said, this map still has issues with effects not showing up for clients. Players can just not get flashed ever, nor see the gray screen from too many downs. I don't know why this happens, but I guess that's just a thing. Another bug, or maybe not a bug, honestly I don't know, but it looks wrong, is the way enemies spawn during the escape sequence. Oftentimes you turn the corner and they're just standing there. I assume it's a problem because of the enemy AI being stupid, but it just looks so dumb. This map could have been so much more, but it just isn't. Aside from the idea, everything in this map just doesn't work. The third map was Black Cat, aka Golden Grin Yacht. I really like how this map works, even though it's mainly just corridors. It has 2 paths that you can choose, and unlike Ukrainian Prisoner, they actually lead to different outcomes. The default objectives require you to run around and do a bunch of stuff, but you have the option to just use C4. C4 instantly overwrites any objectives you've already done, which doesn't seem right, but to be honest, I don't know of a better way to handle this. The C4 path has 4 saws in the open, setting up a winch in the open, and then attaching magnets in the open. This may seem like a death trap, but it's my preferred method of doing the map. The reason for that is because of the map design, which, like I mentioned, is really just corridors. This map makes it really easy to run between rooms for safety, peek doors and windows to kill enemies, and quickly get around enemies. So even though the objectives are in the open, it's pretty easy to defend them. The only bad objective is breaking the turret, because turrets are dumb. However, this map also just has the option to wait around until the turret goes away, which makes me think what the entire point of it is. Another very small nitpick I have is that when you need to signal the helicopter to pick up the vault, you need to place the flare and then light it with 2 different interactions. But why? It's in the same spot, and it doesn't have any interaction time, and there's no delay. You literally just double click your interact button for no reason. Compared to the last map, my review of this one is quite short. There's not a whole lot to fix or change here. The map is just really good. If anything, the spawns are a bit excessive. Am I expected to believe that the military is sending out these small squads from the shore, and they're just arriving in droves? Just have a military warship pull up to the boat or something, and this would be more understandable. Enemy spawns aren't that big of a deal if your teammates are useful. If they aren't, well, I don't really know what to help you with. Just enjoy the map while you're there, I guess. The Mountain Master heist is the last one of this campaign, and it's a good one, and also a really bad one. This map is amazing right up until the end. The map is beautiful, optimized, and plays really well. In fact, it's so optimized that it was the first video I managed to record in 60 FPS with high graphics on my old PC. It doesn't mean much now, because everything I do is 60 FPS, but at the time it was groundbreaking. This map requires you to climb up a building from the inside until you reach the roof for a showdown with the big bad who's been causing issues for the gang. The process there is good, but I really wish there could have been more floors. There are really only 4 floors in this map, but look at how much more could have been worked with. I think fighting through many floors would have been a lot more cinematic than just taking an elevator. Of course, not all of them, as that would get repetitive, exhausting, and just kill the optimization I was praising. There's really not much to complain about on the climb to the top, but when you get to the top, well, there sure is. Yu Fu Wong just completely ruins this map. If there was an option to play this map and just not deal with him, I would play that map over and over and over. As is, the boss has way too much health, no damage multipliers of any sort, insanely high damage when you get close, and a completely broken hitbox on top of that. There's nothing fun about fighting this boss with guns, so melee is your only option. I don't think I've played this map in a public game without using Sociopath or Infiltrator. I hate being limited to my playstyle choice, and this map forces 2 decks unless you want to waste time. This boss is seriously so bad that the rest of the map is effectively ruined. But aside from that and this really weirdly placed door hitbox, I don't have anything else to add. Those are all the maps added during this campaign, and aside from Ukrainian Prisoner, all of the maps are good. Though if you want another reason to knock that map, the promotional art for it even has a bug. Anyway, here are my ratings for these maps, and now we can move on to the weapon packs added during this campaign. The first Gaofeng Smuggler pack brought 4 weapons: a shotgun, SMG, and pistol with an akimbo version. Pistol is a pistol, nothing special, and there's not much to say about it. If you've watched me enough, then you know my general thoughts on pistols, and the cross-kill chunky doesn't change anything about that. If you've watched me enough, then you should know my general thoughts on shotguns as well. I love the Mosconi Tactical. This gun feels and looks good, even if the animations are a tad jumpy. It has unrivaled power in its damage class, and compared to the overall world of shotguns, it's still pretty good. However, if you remember the Silk Road video, I said that this gun completely replaces the Rhinefield 88. I will still dock a point from this basically perfect gun, because that's just a scummy thing for a company to do. The last part of this pack was the AK Gen SMG, and oh boy was it an interesting one. At the time of release, this was the only SMG of its damage tier. It was really strong, and still is. This gun handles really easily, conceals well, and has great damage output and great ammo economy. What's not to like? Well, I think it looks kinda stupid and sounds weird, but that's just me. I haven't really seen anyone else share this opinion, unlike my other opinions regarding aesthetics. The second Gaofeng Smuggler pack came with 3 weapons. The first weapon I want to talk about is the King Arms Sniper. This sniper rifle is an interesting one that is balanced uniquely. Not well, it's a 168 sniper when all is said and done, but uniquely. This gun is not very concealable and can't be silenced. In exchange, you get almost perfect stability and accuracy on it, without much work. This makes it a perfect choice for unconcealed builds, since it handles well, but comes with the downside of alerting enemies. It doesn't really matter, because the Lebenssauger, well, it exists, is all I can really say. That aside, this King Arms looks nice, sounds nice, and feels nice. aside from the cursed animations, which makes your arm uncurl like one of those blow thingies that you use at birthday parties. The next weapon to talk about is the Miyaka SMG. In return for lower mag capacity, it has more total ammo and by proxy, more pickup. This gun is a great support weapon to keep ammo up, and it just feels really nice too. It has micro Uzi animations, so it's hard for it to not look good, you know? My one and only gripe with this SMG is it looks a little bit too boxy. I get that if it was thinner, it would just be a micro Uzi with different stats, but it just looks odd. Last and certainly not least, the Ketchnoff Bay1K rifle. I mean, BYK1 rifle. This gun is a replacement for the Little Friend, which can no longer be purchased because the Scarface pack had that thing a couple years ago. Now, the big question, does it do the job? Yeah, why not? It's got the grenade launcher, and it's got the rifle part, so I guess it works. The only real difference is the damage class, since the Little Friend is a DMR, and this gun is a BR. It does have a speed pull, which the Little Friend doesn't, and I find that odd. This doesn't really need a speed pull, it was good as is. The speed pull also impacts the grenade launcher reload for some reason. This was never fixed, just like the animations. This gun is not a pleasure to look at. The gun animations are lazy and the arm animations are broken, but there are reanimations out there if you want to use this gun often. One thing that came with, not necessarily this pack, but this update, was the Zapper Grenade. The throwable version is pretty useless. You get 4 and they stun shorter than concussions at a smaller range. Why use them? I don't know. However, these can be put into your grenade launcher as well, and that option is pretty strong. Depending on the grenade launcher you apply it to, the Zapper grenades can stun very large areas very easily. The third Gaofeng pack was a lot worse than the previous ones. Let's start with the Rust 12 Angry Tiger Revolver. Other than the 5.7, this gun is the only other AP pistol. That said, it doesn't conceal well, it has a slow reload, less pickup and capacity than the 5.7, only 6 shots in the mag, lower rate of fire, and for what? More damage? The 5.7 already one-shots shields, which is all you need it for anyway. There's just no reason to use this gun unless you want a setup that just one-shots heavies to the head and go around wall-banging, but then again, Zerk 5.7 with one-handed talent does that too. If you want to use an AP revolver, you'd be better off unironically just using AP Judge without shotgun skills. It's basically the same but with more total ammo. Next up, the KS-12 Urban Rifle. I'm not really sure what Overkill was thinking with this one. Low fire rate and high damage kinda makes sense, but what is the rest of this gun? The stats are pretty bad, but the one defining feature is that this gun can be modded to get a 2-shot heavy breakpoint to the body with just Frenzy Zerk. This is handy to people like me who do health decks with Zerk, but I don't see it being very helpful to everyone else. This gun also has a DMR option, but unlike the default, there really is no reason to use this. First off, it locks you into single fire. It has higher damage than all the other DMRs, but you still need Zerk or another damage increase to help it one-shot heavies, so why would you ever take the KS-12 over the other single fire lock DMRs? The cavity is more concealed, shoots faster, and has slightly more ammo. The Gallant shoots pretty fast too, has pretty good concealment, and has a massive ammo pool. If the KS-12 DMR could auto-fire, there could be some breakpoints you could go for. There's literally no reason to use this option, unlike the Grim animations, which Overkill had reason to use again. I mean really, go ahead and count how many guns have this animation, it's silly. The last weapon of this pack is the King Armor's pistol, which is the only pistol that has an underbarrel shotgun. It's a cool concept, but people don't use this. The shotgun has only a few shots, but unlike the underbarrel grenade launchers, there's no good reason to limit the ammo here. It just isn't as effective as you can imagine. You can do some funky setups with Overkill Aced, but now you're spending at least 48 points on just one gun, and a pistol at that. Also, the sound of this gun is strangely springy. This pack is very underwhelming. There's no good reason to ever use any of these weapons, both for stats and style. But if you're someone who looks for extreme niches of optimization, then this is an interesting pack, I guess. The final weapon pack has a very different aesthetic to the previous ones, since it makes futuristic weapons, or high-tech, or something like that. I'm not exactly sure what they were going for. Well, at least 2 of the 3 weapons in the pack are high-tech. The Gecko doesn't fall under the new aesthetic style, as it's just a pistol, but really it's a shotgun. What I mean by that is it has a built-in shotgun push to launch bodies around. On top of that, it's silenced by default. Overkill might as well have called this pistol Chameleon instead of Gecko, because it's literally just designed for stealth. Compared to current setups for stealth with shotguns, it's got more ammo, more mag, and if you take pistol skills, more ROF and faster reloads. The way I see it, this pistol is just optimal for stealth. but I couldn't tell you the last time I stealthed, so what do I know about the meta there? Before I talk about the next weapon, we need to take a quick interlude to talk about Update 217. This update added, among other random things, the exclusive set. Exclusive sets are these mods that you can put on weapons, so that you sorta don't need to mod the gun. From what I understand, Overkill's intention with these was that modding weapons is complicated, so just put on an exclusive set and it'll be good enough. There are several issues with exclusive sets. First off, modding weapons is not very hard. You look at the numbers changing on the stat list and pick weapon mods accordingly. Second, if the intention was to help new players, then Overkill failed pretty hard. The weapon that Overkill tested exclusive sets on was the Car 4, and it needed an achievement to unlock. The achievement requires the player to break a turret with a Car 4, but what new players even know that turrets are breakable? And how to break them isn't something easy to figure out either. On top of that, the Car 4 is the only non-DLC weapon to have exclusive sets. What new player buys the newest DLCs as soon as they get the game? Buying DLCs as they come out is left to suckers like me. It just seems like a botched idea from Overkill. Last but not least, these exclusive sets are either useless or overpowered, and there's really no in-between as you'll find out looking at the weapons in future DLC. The Car 4 one is useless, but the ones for the next weapons in this DLC are incredible. Anyway, the next weapon I want to talk about is the Argos 3 shotgun. This gun has done something I didn't expect any other to do, and that is to overtake the RPK in terms of ugliness. Oh my god, this piece of metal is ugly. By default, it looks like someone glued a TV remote to a shotgun. That's not too bad, but the exclusive set, fucking hell. It looks like some kind of third-party controller for a PlayStation hunting game, but if you touch it while it's charging, then it shocks you. Why does it look so ugly? It's got wires hanging everywhere, the same smartwatch interface on the back of it, and the fire animation sucks hard too. The gun bounces in such a weird way, there's literally no reason to ever use this pile of trash. Oh, unless you like the stats, which are completely overpowered. This is mainly because of the reload, which does multiple shells at a time. This allows you to have an obnoxious output of damage, especially if you consider the damage and fire rate, which are better than any alternative shotgun. Seriously, I hate everything about this gun. I don't want to give it another second of attention, so let's get to the final weapon of the pack, the Wasp DS SMG. Unless you put on the exclusive set, this gun looks really nice. But wouldn't you know, the exclusive set gives so many stats that you just can't avoid it. Speaking of stats, this SMG can reach 100 stats if you use skills and a bit of unintended magic. The exclusive set blocks barrel extensions, all except the Verdunkel and muzzle brake, which was only added somewhat recently. But since this exclusive set is silenced, you can take advantage of the skills for that too. That considered, this gun is hard to handle. It has both the fastest fire rate and highest recoil values of any SMG. What that means is that the gun is hard to use in return for a lot of damage, which I'm a fan of. This SMG is very fun to use, at least until you need to use something else. This gun has very long, drawn-out animations, which make it a chore to switch weapons, especially if you need to do it in a pinch. It's tragic that this SMG is the only one without an akimbo option, because I would have loved to see the recoil on that. All that said, this SMG is very satisfying to use, and easily my favorite part of the pack. You'll notice I had more to say as these packs went on, and that's because Overkill was trying more and unique stuff, which is a good thing. Are these packs worth your money? Well, I just told you everything you need to know, so make up your mind with that info. Just like the Silk Road, the City of Gold campaign added drip. The Silk Road cosmetics were all unique and well made, and these are as well. Starting with the Guardian's Tailor Pack. The masks added all look like something a TF2 sniper main would wear, so I don't really care for them. The two outfits, however, are really nice. They look clean and futuristic, and the Riptop Casual in white is my outfit of choice. The gloves also look nice, but nothing outstanding. The next DLC was the Mega City Tailor Pack, and this one also pushes the futuristic aesthetic. The masks all look like some kind of dystopian military force you'd see in a movie, but I don't really like that style. The outfits are also futuristic, but they're a lot louder than the Guardian's outfits, so I don't really care for them. One thing to note is that the Cyber Hoodie was in some hot water for allegedly being a stolen design. If you choose the red option, you'll notice that it resembles this jacket designed by a designer called Machine 56. As far as I know, this controversy has been resolved behind closed doors, but at the time, it was a somewhat big deal. The gloves are they don't really look good. The next Tailor Pack took a sharp left turn, because it was a hunting theme rather than a future one. The masks are well made, even if it's not something I would wear because of how obnoxious they are. The outfits are also well made, though I do think they're a bit bland. There were no gloves for this pack, which is strange because this seems like a prime opportunity for good-looking winter gloves rather than gloves to hide fingerprints or whatever. Instead, there were some charms, but I don't care for them, and really who does? The final pack is the Golden Dagger Tailor Pack, which goes back to the futuristic theme, at least for the mask and gloves. The masks are pretty plain all in all, but they've got a glow to them, which is nice, I guess. The outfits are underwhelming. They don't bring anything new, are pretty plain, and to be honest, don't look that good anyway. The gloves in this pack are pretty unique though. These gloves are some of the most unique in the game, but they're also a bit loud for my tastes. Overall, these packs are well made and look good, at least for the most part. If you like the futuristic style, and I guess the hunting in the woods style, then you'll like these packs. And that covers the City of Gold campaign. Was it a good follow-up to the Silk Road campaign? Absolutely. Aside from the stake-out bad apples, basically everything in this campaign is well made, fun, and unique. Nicely done, Overkill. I salute you for following up like you did. The next campaign we'll be talking about is the Texas Heat campaign, but that one is still going as I make this video. So when I'll be making the recap of that is a mystery, but I'll see you then.